Hello, 102ers. Because this is a 10-week accelerated course, y'all are working a lot harder than my standard fall and spring courses. Why? Well, there are 5 weeks missing. Because of that, we have to combine weeks, and this just happens to be one of those weeks. Sorry, folks, it won't be easy as I had hoped, but if you work hard enough this week, you'll find that the final draft of your paper will be slightly more of a breeze. So, as always, let's take a look at the announcement for the week. Again, here is the date range. Then we get the words of wisdom that many of you will skip over. And then we have the video that you're watching now, followed by the video chapter listing. Here is the material that's really important for you to know coming up in week 10. Then we have what's your reading this week. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 pages with 2 videos that you could watch if you really wanted to. And then there are 2 assignments, which we will go over in depth, okay? If this doesn't make sense to you, then we can go back to the main page, go over here to view the course schedule, and then right under view the course schedule, we find week 7, all the way down here. Hey, look, there it is. Again, read the 4 pages there. We've got a CSET challenge, which I will show you in a little bit. And then we have the 2 assignments, okay? So this video doesn't get overly long. Let's just jump right in with thesis statements, writing, and importance. And so here we go. It's actually a general review of everything you've ever learned about thesis statements over the course of your English language education. Now, if I were you, I'd focus on kind of trying to emulate the divorce thesis statement here, as well as maybe the crumbling job market down here, okay? They're the 2 best out of the 4. The drug education thesis here is not awful, but it definitely needs some work. Exposing children from an early age to the dangers of drug abuse is a sure method of preventing future drug addicts, but it doesn't tell you how or why or anything other than bleh, okay? At least we're coming up with an idea here in the no-fault divorce, right? At least we're talking about, we need education in society to help the crumbling job market. So these 2 are much better than this one. And my God, I've hated this one from the very beginning. Nobody's willing to change it. I'm not allowed to change it. But the Shakespeare thesis here is god-awful. It was written by someone who wants to appear smart and educated, but fell far short of that mark. So, ignore it altogether. The rest of the page is, well, it's a review, It's exactly what I said it's going to be. You've learned about thesis statements in practically every stage of your education, so this is just something to get your brain remembering what you've already learned. Now, if you need to narrow this page down to a single idea, I'd go down here to this one, okay? Strong thesis statements must be supportable and specific. If you can't support your ideas, they don't count. They're assertions. They won't work for an argument. If your thesis, like the drug education one above, is just so all-encompassing that anything can fit in there, you're casting your net far too wide. So honestly, make sure your thesis statement is supportable. Make sure that it is indeed specific. Going back, we see now that we're talking about CSET again. Oh, really? Click on that. Here we go. Look at all these lovely pages for CSET. Honestly, we already did this back in week 5. So you can go back and take a look at the week 5 video, or just go back to week 5 and review the documents there, which are all actually right here. So whichever one you want, I am not going to spend my time or waste yours by going over it again for the second time in 3 weeks, okay? There's honestly some ideas that you definitely want to focus on. So the C element is the topic sentences, how to set up your quotes or your paraphrases, what the quotes and paraphrases should be here, and then the all-important explanation or tie-in section right here. Now, one of the things I do kind of want to focus you on is the understanding of the CSET challenges. You can see the link is right here. You click on that, it takes you to here. It is indeed a Google Slides page. And I'm just dragging these over. These are not the right answers, so please do not do this. But basically, try to figure out what each box has to do with claim, setup, evidence, or tie-in. When you're ready, click submit. Oh no, I got it wrong. So you can go through here and take this, and there's several slides that you can go through to determine what is a tie-in, what is an evidence, piece of evidence, what is a setup, and what is a claim. And if you have any questions on this, you are more than welcome to reach out to me and ask why certain things are looked at as tie-ins or evidence or whatnot. Okay, so that's CSET. Now, back here, we have using EBSCOHost for research. Now, we've talked about this from pretty much the first week, I think. So in order to do this, click on here. It'll take you to the using EBSCOHost page, and you can find how to access your EBSCOHost account by this page right here. And it goes through and it shows you all sorts of wonderful things that we've already talked about, including a YouTube video made by the Delaware Tech Library System. Or you can go back to the main page over here under Student Success Toolbox, find Library, click on it, scroll down to EBSCOHost, and click on it. And as you can see right here, it will come up. You can search for almost anything, information, technology, and then you're going to get many different results coming up. Here is over 1 million. Well, that's not going to work for us. So what we want to do is make sure that it is indeed the past 5 years. That knocks it down from over 1 million down to just under 250,000, which is much better. And we have to make sure it's full text because you don't want just summaries coming back. So now we're going from under 250,000 down to under 100,000. So as you can see, it's getting smarter and better, and you can go through and find whatever you need here, okay? Make sure that they are indeed 2021 or later, nothing earlier than that. All right? Again, we've talked about this. I am not going to belabor the point. So if you have any questions about this, you feel free to reach out, but I am not going to take up your time on this video for that, okay? Now, that's what I wanted. We've already talked about EBSCOHost, and now we can look at Google Scholar. Google Scholar is kind of like the really cool older cousin of Google who's in college, and Google's a high school student, and the Google Scholar knows all the stuff that Google really thinks they know, but they don't. Are you following? Okay. Anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to use Google Scholar much the same way you use Google, except you realize that the material in Google Scholar is much more intelligent. So you can link to Google Scholar simply by typing in scholar.google.com, and you get to this page here. So here, if we do, okay, cybersecurity, United States. Well, as you can see here, we have 1.08 million results. But again, we want a custom range, so we go into there, 21 and later, click search. We're now down to less than 30,000. Awesome. If there is a link over here on the right-hand side, you should be able to access it without a problem. It's not going to give you an issue looking at it. You're not going to have to pay for it. It's right here for you to see. It might be dense. It might be difficult to understand, but that's what Google Scholar will find for us. Now, let's go back. Hold on. Where is it? It's not going for me. Hold on. Sorry, when you're recording the video, sometimes it kind of blocks up different things that I can use. Anyway, we have all these different ideas that you can, or there's links that you can find. This one here, most likely you're going to have to pay for because there's no link over here. Same thing with this one. And this one, for example, but all these ones on the right-hand side that actually have links should be pretty easy for you to find. Google Scholar is great because it strips out all of the ads and all of the sponsored links. So this is pretty much the best of what Google has to offer, okay? Now, once again, there is a video here. The library didn't make this up. Somebody else did. But you can actually use it if you really want to watch it. I didn't make it, so hey, you might like the video even more. Who knows? Okay? Anyway, we're back here. We've already talked about the CSET challenge, and now we're at the 2 assignments for the week, okay? Wonderful. So the first thing I want you to do is click on the Unit 3 article evaluations, and you're going to have the document that you're going to download here, and all of this material here is going to help you figure out where you've got to go. You can find sources in Credo, EBSCOHost, New York Times, SIRS. These are the databases you have access to. You can use Google Scholar, Google News. We've got all sorts of different academic journals or magazines or whatever that you want to find. And the sheet, again, here and here, it's the exact same one. Well, it's going to look a little bit like this. This one is going to focus you, okay? I want the rhetorical information right up front here. Title, author, year of publication or update, and a database name or the URL, whichever one you can find. If it doesn't have a date, you can't use it. If it doesn't have an author, you can't use it. You have to make sure that all that material is here. Don't just tell me, oh, I found these sources. How did you search for them? Tell me that you looked in here and typed in cyber security United States, cyber terrorism, global, viruses and phishing problems on the internet. Whatever you used to search for these sources, put in these boxes here, okay? So that will help you. Now, down here, I want you to give me an attempt at your formatted reference and citation. Again, you can go to the Purdue OWL website, which I have linked right here, and you're going to give me the full reference here and the APA citation here. Now, there we go. Remember something. Now, oh, that's better. The reference is the long form. It's going to have the author's last name, the first initial, the year, the date, the month, the day. It's going to have the title. It's going to have the URL. It's going to have all that material. The in-text citation has the author's last name, comma, year, comma, page or paragraph number. That's it, okay? When it's short, it's a citation. When it's long, it's a reference. So then once you get through that, again, just answer the crap questions, right? I'm forcing you to answer these in detail so I know that you're actually doing it. I know you're looking at it going, oh, I've already done this. Yeah, well, guess what? Now I want to see the work, okay? Think of it like a math class. Don't just give me an answer. Tell me how you got to it, okay? So we have this, and then I want you to give me the overall evaluation of what you think of this source and why. You're going to do this not once, not twice, but thrice to make sure you have all three sources ready to go. Sound good? Yeah, I know it's so much fun. Because now you're going to have 7 sources, 2 from Unit 1, 2 from Unit 2, 3 from Unit 3, and you can use all of those sources in your upcoming paper. 3 sources, 2021 or later, academic sources which pass the crap test. Isn't it just so wonderfully fun? And then finally, we have the Unit 3 Argumentative Research Paper Outline. By clicking on here, you're going to see that you actually have a couple of choices to make this week. First, you can do the Argument Essay Graphical Organizer, which looks like this. Something you've seen many times in the past. It's just basically a graphical delivery of what you plan on putting in your paper. You know that I want to see details. You know that I want to see information. So all of this should be right here, ready to go. This is something that you feel is the best use of your time. Then God bless you. Go for it. Fill this out. Submit it. If, however, you find that the graphical organizer is a little bit more than you would normally do, and you feel that, you're more of an outline person, I will give you the option to do just a normal outline. And in there, you actually have a choice. What do I mean? Well, what you can do is you can choose option A, which is the Harvard outline, also known as the hierarchical outline, also known as the traditional outline. As you can see, we've got Roman numerals, Western letters, then we have, all this information. Oh, look, Western numbers. And all you have to really do is just remove the information and answer the questions, right? What should your attention getter be? Okay, my attention getter is going to be this. What is your thesis statement? Well, take away this bold and type your thesis statement in here. What's your first argument claim? What's your second argument claim? What's your third argument claim? What's your counterclaim? What's your second counterclaim? All of this information. But for some of you, you might get a little freaked out by the formatting. And the formatting is indeed kind of harsh. So what you can do is leave option A behind and go right down here to option B, which is pretty much the exact same thing, except there's no formatting. It's just bullet points. It's a little bit easier to follow. It's not a big deal, okay? It is whatever one works specifically for you. And honestly, if this doesn't work for you and you want to create some sort of a mind map or some sort of a Venn diagram or whatever that works for you better, hey, that works for you, okay? I want to see all this information put together. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. It'll be amazing. And you're going to submit either option A or option B if you choose the outline or the organizer. One or the other. I do not want to see the organizer and option A and option B. I want to see the organizer or option A or option B. One of them. I don't want to grade 15 things from one person. Okay? So this is going to help you develop the overall understanding of this coming assignment. So, what do you think? You think you're ready? We're getting close to the end of the semester, folks. When I grade these assignments, I will be doing so after returning from Orlando, Florida, ignoring my family for a few hours to focus on you and yours. Fun times, huh? And you think I'm not a giver, you silly students. Anyway, have a great week.